Hello, I'm Karena.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome to As Told by ADHD. This podcast is the brainchild of two best friends with ADHD who share a passion for learning and a knack for finding the most fascinating tidbits of knowledge.
Each week, we embark on a wild and hilarious journey of discovery as we dive headfirst into topics that pique our curiosity. From dark folklore to bizarre statistics, cultural ceremonies to famous dead people. We're here to entertain, educate, and tickle your funny bone.
This week on As Told by ADHD, we are discussing the origin of deities.
You ever wondered, like where some people are like, how did we get to this place? How did we get to think about gods? And like where did some of these gods come from?
I'm a big book reader. I love my fantasy romance, maybe with a little bit of in there, but that's okay. That's okay. You get really good stories along with it. But you know, they'll be talking about from like Akatar, for example. They're like, thank the cauldron. It's like, why do they praise the cauldron? Like, why do they do that? Like, why is that thing being worshipped? And then you have all these different cultures. If you can get yourself like out of the US, you can experience a lot of really cool things. But they like give like offerings for like seasons of their life, like marriages or starting a career, or they like blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, why do they do that? How does this thing bring abundance in this way or that way, or help with this? So we're here to tell you that.
Exactly.
So,
before we start, I do want to preface that this is a safe space and anyone is allowed to believe anything they want to here, as long as you're not hurting anybody. We will not be condemning any religions in any way, shape, or form in our comments or in our community at all. And I personally will not accept any bullying or harassment regarding religion at all. If you don't think you can conduct yourself in a respectful manner in our comments, then don't even bother listening to this episode, or any episode for that matter. But I'm feeling spicy today, so.
she's a spicy taco today.
Mm-hmm.
Muy
No
caliente.
bullying.
Not allowed.
Instead,
This is a safe spot where you learn some random shit.
Exactly. Yeah. We all love to have some curiosity here. And we all love to learn. So,
And we all love our funny bone being tickled.
That's crazy. Okay, evens or odds?
Odds.
It's even. So I go first.
So, like always, our Jamie is going to grace our ears and our brains with some knowledge.
Exactly. And also, I will say I'm very proud of my notes on this one. It's not 40 pages long. So it's going to fit within one episode. You're welcome, everyone.
It's just less editing for us, really.
Yeah. Okay, so before I start, I need to explain a couple things. So time period wise, when you're talking about religions, you're talking about a lot of time, different time periods, right? So we have BC or BCE. BC is before Christ. BCE is before Common Era. I'm going to be using BCE just because that is the generalized consensus among people who study religions. That's what is used most often when people are studying religions or any history at all. There's also AD, which is Anno Domini. And then there is CE, which is Common Era. I will be using Common Era because that is what scientists and people who study religion and history use. So in my stories, it will be BCE and CE.
Cool.
Are we good?
Got it? Get it. Got it. Good.
So let's go all the way back to 1000 CE to this little sacred city of Ile-Ife in western part of Africa.
You pronounce that so good.
Thank you.
Wow.
I watched so many videos on it because I was like, this religion is mostly spread by word of mouth and there's not a lot of written texts. So it's hard to like there's a bunch of different variations of it.
Mhm.
So it's hard to be like, this is the thing. So I had to listen to a bunch of different people talk about it and then come to like the generalized consensus of this religion. Okay. So there's going to be some like, I'm just going to kind of like go over a couple things about the region first. Then I need to give you some context before I give you the deity that I will be talking about today.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so in Ile-Ife, in Western Africa, the beliefs I will be talking about today go back way further, but the most historical events and tradition are relayed by mouth, like I said. And I couldn't find exact dates, but I can tell you like the general consensus, like I said.
I couldn't find any dates with my deity, so you're fine.
Okay, so between 1300 CE and 1600 CE, there was a region known as the Oyo Empire. Between the 1600s and the 1700s, it was reframed to be the Yoruba as like an umbrella identity for this culture and linguistic unity that they had.
Okay.
Okay? We kind of like understand what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Got you.
the Yoruba, they like, it's not like a place, it's more of a people, an identity, and it's also like a linguistic way of speaking. Like, I don't think it's like the way I understand it, it didn't seem like its own language, but it's like a way of speaking.
Gotcha.
I guess maybe like a vernacular, maybe? Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I mean for people who like don't understand, it's like a good base to go off of to kind of understand that.
Exactly. So. And then in the 1800s, Europeans started to colonize this area. The eye roll is astronomical. I think my eyes fell out of my head.
Oh, the search for power.
The search for power. And then finally in 1960, this region gains its independence, and it is known today as Western Nigeria and Eastern Benin.
I am both of those. Both of those are in my genealogy.
Well, let me tell you about the culture.
Myself. Let me tell you about you.
Let me tell you about you. Okay.
For those who don't know, I am biracial. I'm white and black. My black is Nigerian, Benin, Togo, tiny little bit of Congo.
I'm none of those things.
Mostly Nigerian and Benin, though.
I am none of those things. I am Irish. That's it. Well, I mean, there's a couple other things in there, I think.
You are spicy. The spiciness can come from the Irish. They're spicy people. They're pretty spicy people.
They're feisty. They'll
feisty.
fight you. But no, yeah, my mom swears up and down that her great-grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee, Native American. But there is no documented proof of this. So, I don't know. So the deity I'm talking about today, she needs a little context, a prelude, if you will. So we're going to start with how people believed this region, like people in this region believed the world was created. Okay, so in the beginning, there was a supreme god and goddess and the Orisha. Do you know
Okay.
any of this, by the way? Have you searched any of this?
No.
Well, I got you.
Why would I do that when you tell me the story?
I know. Well, I didn't know if you like looked into like this region at all because of your ancestral background. But here we go.
Well, I did, but they don't really go into like deities that much. I could have
Fair.
once I found out with tribes and stuff, but
Yeah. Okay. So there is supreme god, supreme goddess, and the Orisha. The supreme god. So the world is like split up into like different sections at this point. So there is the realm where all the gods lived. There is like kind of where the earth is now, but at this time it was just like the space between the realm of gods and water. And then water. And then the supreme goddess ruled the water.
gotcha.
And the supreme god ruled the realm of the gods. And
Gotcha.
Orisha. Okay, so. So, think of Orisha kind of like demigods, but more powerful. Like, they weren't born as, like, half god, half human. They were gods. But they were able to, like, go between realms without too much trouble. Whereas, like, the
Right.
supreme god and the supreme goddess don't really, like, go up and down, basically. Okay, so, and just like a little tidbit, we're not talking about the supreme goddess, but I do want to recognize her because we love goddesses. The supreme goddess was known as Olokun, and she and her realm will not be the focus of this. Instead, we're going to be talking about the beginning of the earth, which starts with Olodumare.
Olodumare. Okay.
Olodumare. And this supreme god is also known as Olorun. So there's Olokun and Olorun. I didn't mean to say Olokun, Olorun. I said it wrong the first time. So, one of the Orisha, named Obatala, he saw the potential of what this middle realm could be. So he goes to Olodumare and he's like, hey, can I maybe like make something about like here? Can I do that? And he's like, sure. So Olodumare gives him a golden chain so he can get down. He gives him a palm seed, a snail shell full of sand, and a chicken. So, armed with all of these things, he takes the chain and lowers down to this middle realm, right? He's like, doo-doo-doo-doo. He's got this chicken. Also, in some variations of the story, there's also a cat, a black cat. Some say
like
that
a
it's
black cat instead of the chicken?
No, it's an addition to. The black cat was like supposed to be a companion for the Orisha before he started creating stuff. But it's not in every single version, so I just thought I'd note it. So he's got this chicken, he's got this shell, he's got a palm seed, and he's got this this chain, and he's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. He goes all the way down. And then before he gets down, he starts to pour the sand out of the shell. And then he drops the chicken on the sand. And the chicken starts scratching at the sand and pecking, and he pulls up the land. So the chicken is like, let there be land! Your face.
So the god was the chicken?
No, the god was not the chicken. The god used the chicken to help him pull up earth.
I mean, Why a chicken?
I cannot explain. I tried to look into it of like the significance of like why a chicken, and I couldn't find anything. My best guess would be maybe in this time period, chickens had like a lot of cultural significance to the people of Yoruba.
I
But
mean, but like, the god wouldn't have been able to create the land unless the chicken scratched the sand. So I'm sorry, but I'm just led to believe that the chicken was the god all along.
well, that's not this story. Maybe in a different story we can make that happen, but not this one. So, once the chicken like starts to pull up the sand, he drops all the way down. He's like, heck yeah. And he starts planting the seed, and then it flourishes almost immediately into like a bunch of grass and trees and blah blah blah, right?
Such a magical chicken.
Well, no, the chicken only pulled up the land. Obatala actually like started planting stuff, and then he's like, man, I am thirsty. So he like taps the tree. I don't know what it's called. Like when you try to get sap out of the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he taps the tree,
cool.
and then he turns the sap from the palm. Or is it a palm tree? It's a palm seed. So I'm assuming it's a palm tree.
Yeah.
He turns the sap from the tree into wine, and he starts drinking it. And he's like, "Oh, this is really good." And it gets a little toasted, just a little toasted. And then,
an alki tree,
right? And then Oduduwa comes down on this chain, and he's like, "I'm gonna see what he's doing." And he's like, "Oh, he's doing stuff. What's he doing?" And okay, so there's a lot that ends up happening, but there ends up kind of being like a back and forth. In some iterations, Oduduwa tries to take the glory from Obatala, but in some iterations they work together. So I don't really know what because like it was like half and half with that one. But basically, Oduduwa becomes the ruler of the land, whereas Obatala becomes like the ruler of like life on land. So he starts creating humans out of clay, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. He gets drunk again. Some stuff happens, blah, blah, blah. And more Orishas start coming down, and they're all men.
of course.
And they're trying to get this land to thrive, and they just can't. Crops were not growing. Rivers kept drying up. Communities kept falling apart. And it was just such a horrible time. And I bet you're wondering what happened. How did we end up surviving all the issues that the male deities created?
Women.
Oh my
Women.
God. Hell yeah.
Because men can't do it without us.
Exactly. Let me tell you about the deity we were talking about today.
Tell me about her.
There was a goddess. Beautiful, kind, graceful, immensely powerful, who came to save the day. And this deity that we will be focusing on today, her name is Oshun, the goddess of fresh water, fertility, and love.
Oh, yeah.
We love her. So
I can't believe they try to build an entire world without water.
Well, no, I think they were trying to make water happen.
Yeah.
From what I understand,
like,
but it kept drying up because like they weren't nourishing it. They were just like, here it is. Oh. Okay, here it is. What? One more time. Here it is. What the hell? So that's kind of like my consensus of what I took from that.
Okay.
Right? So she, in the beginning, was trying to help these male deities, and they were like, no, we got it. We don't need your help. And the male Orisha kept trying to shape the earth, and they were shaping it just fine, but the maintenance part they were having a hard time with. Because like I
Right.
said, they weren't nourishing the way that the earth and life needed to be nourished. And so they kept making this land unable to sustain itself and thrive. And the earth fell into chaos. And then there became like a divide between Olodumare and the Orisha, where, and I wasn't quite sure exactly why this happened. Some people say it was an attempt for Olodumare to be like, I need to teach you a lesson, Orisha. Like, you're not doing what you need to be doing. And some people say that he tried to help, and the male Orisha were like, we got this. And he was like, okay, get it then. So,
What a fail.
right. So they like completely cut communication. And it came to a point where the male Orisha were like, okay, we actually do need his help. So they were trying to like get his help. And Olodumare was like, no, no, your pride can handle this. Like, sassy, we love him.
Missed your shot.
Right.
Hard miss. Yeah.
And some of the male Orisha tried to travel to the land, but without Olodumare's help, they couldn't get there. And then others were too prideful to like even attempt it, and they were like, we could fix it ourselves. And then,
oh my gosh,
Oshun, watching all of this go down, she saw that life on Earth was suffering, so she decided to take matters into her own hands.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Tell me what she did.
She transformed into a beautiful peacock so she could fly to the heavens. But the journey was brutal. She flew so fast and so far that her beautiful feathers, they either burned off or fell off due to stress. And
love the physics. Love that they added a sprinkle of physics in there.
Right. And she was exhausted by the end of the flight. Olodumare was so touched by this sacrifice of not only like putting her pride aside, because even though like she wasn't the one who was being prideful, like going against the Orisha and doing and trying to reach out anyway and help the life on Earth, but sacrificing her own beauty. Oshun pleaded for the Creator's help and blessing to restore the earth. And touched by her courage, humility, Olodumare blessed her by restoring harmony to the world. And from that moment on, she was not only the goddess of rivers and love, she became a symbol of sacrifice, leadership, and divine favor.
That's what's up.
Love her. And she returned to Earth. And she was able to breathe sustainable life into the earth. Rivers flowed, crops prospered, and people and all the other living things were able to thrive.
Wow.
We love her.
Is that it?
That's her story.
Oh my gosh. Heck yeah, girl.
And yeah, I love her. I love her very
great.
much. She's great. Although, like most goddesses of love, she's most often prayed to or worshipped when you want to have a baby. But she's also like really highly regarded, from what I could tell.
When you have the power of breathing life into something, like, yes, it is natural to associate that with water and fertility, because, like, human beings were majority water. Everything around us, no matter what it is, has to survive with water, like, and nutrients that derive from the way, like, blah, 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 blah. Blah blah blah. So it's very natural for life to be associated with water and fertility. The fact that they associate her with fertility is probably because she's a woman and has the power of breathing life into things.
Yeah.
But when I did do research, majority of gods are men or masculine figures.
I will say, like, I will give props to, like, majority of, like, I feel like in African culture, there's a lot of, like, it's, like, both a lot of the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From
That's
what I could
awesome.
tell. So, we love when people respect women.
That's true. That is very true. Even though culture is, like, down to the baseline of when cultures and nations were created, like, men were just automatically given the most power, and the women are kind of put on the sideline.
I'm gonna go ahead and change that to they weren't given it, they probably took it.
Well, yeah. But they have the initial power. And it takes a lot of time for women to kind of get themselves to a level where men are kind of spoon-fed it, especially in those times. I will say that it is easier now. I'm not saying it's easy, like grade A, like you can just snap your fingers and just know somebody and get where you need to go. But like the fact that, like, what we're doing right now, right? Like, who do we answer to? Nobody. Like, we started this, we have the power over it, which is really cool. And we have the opportunity to do that now. Whereas if you even touched a computer when they first came out and you were a woman, like, God knows how you were treated, like, honestly. Yeah. So I'm grateful that women are a lot more powerful nowadays than they were.
I would not have done well in old times. Like, when people are like,
no,
what time period would you want to live in? None of them. None of the above.
Nope.
I'm happy with, I mean, I'm not happy, but I'm currently content with this time period.
Yeah, because of the opportunities that we can achieve as women. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, if I was a man, maybe a different time period would be fun, but as a woman, no, I'm good. Thank you. I'll stay here. Now, if I could go, like, look at time periods, I would love to, like, go look at, like, the Renaissance. Just, like, if I had, like, a little bubble that I could, like, drive that's invisible.
Drive in a bubble and just watch from afar.
I would love
not
to,
even
like,
afar, just be invisible. Just be in the mix of everything. But be in the bubble and not leave the bubble.
Nah, I'm going to be in the bubble because it probably stunk.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. Bubble. That's exactly where I was going. It probably smelled awful.
But I will say, okay, so I feel like this story was very impactful to me because it embodies a lot of feminine ideologies that I really resonate with. Just the fact that, like, feminine power is essential to have a balance and creation. I think that's And I feel like a lot of societies, they have trouble with actually admitting that. Like, even if you take, like, really early Christianity, like, it is more of, like, women are there to serve, not to be a part of what's happening. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm actually reading the whole Bible right now with a commentary that is led by a woman. And she pointed out, like, especially in the Old Testament, like, things are very women stay in the kitchen, produce children type thing. Um, and she did point out, like, if you're a woman reading, like, especially the New Testament, like, it's going to be hard to listen to because you are listening to women literally getting no praise pretty much. Um but something that was very powerful that was in there that I found was Sarah's lineage was highlighted. So the Genesis pretty much is just a bunch of lineage, and it's just like this man produced 12 sons. Maybe a daughter will be thrown in there, but like very briefly skimmed over. Like, women do not get anything, right? But then at one point they went through a wife named Sarah. They went through her lineage and the children that she produced. And it's like, why did she, or the Bible, like, highlight this woman's one lineage? And it was because her lineage would eventually lead to Jesus' life. So her lineage was like super important. I was just like, and then it goes on to more stories about things that women had to go through and then not be appreciated. But we got that one. We got that little one. But like, I agree with you. Like, it is very male present, even in the Bible, like the Christian Bible. And I'm not sure about other religions. I don't know if you did any research in other religions, but I know the basis is that most religions are very masculine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I already know a lot about, I always found like Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and Norse mythology very appealing. Like, I loved learning about it. So I know a lot about those. It is very male-centered. But just thinking about Oshun's compassion and gentle touch and how other cultures might see that as a weakness, this story highlights that it's not a weakness. It made her stronger and pushed her further than anyone thought she could go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
strong. She's brilliant. She's resilient.
Exactly. She was able to bring harmony and balance in the way that people could thrive on Earth. And honestly, like, I feel like a lot of people, or a lot of like these male deities that are these male Orisha, they tried to logic their way through creating Earth and not realizing that you need that compassion, empathy, love, and nurturing to be able to let this thrive. And I feel like that's really resonant in my life. I feel like people definitely need to lean more into like a nurturing, because like I don't see nurturing someone or something as a feminine trait. I see that as like a people trait. Like, we all should be nurturing and nourishing each other in different ways. You know what I mean? And like, I think we all should be listening to our own intuition to find balance and order in our society. Thank you.
So my deity origin story is all male. I could not find a goddess that I really wanted to talk about that wasn't already like super duper well known, like not internationally, So I kind of wanted to go back to Hawaiian culture because I lived there for about 6-ish years. And even though I was learning the culture, I felt like I could learn so much more.
You can
Like,
always learn more.
yeah, like I already knew some, and I'm just like, I don't know. I wanted to kind of dive into deeper culture because even though like Christianity is a big one over there in Hawaii, I mean, at the end of the day, they were, an indigenous people. They were islanders. They were tribal, they had their religions per tribe. They had, they were their own entity, which I think is common knowledge. But yeah, they were their own entity before the US came. But I always want to learn more about that culture because I don't think any cultures pre-USA, pre-colonization should be forgotten. But since Hawaii is a newer state, like it's one of the last ones, if not the last one, I cannot remember. The culture I feel like is depleting, and I don't like that. So
It was Hawaii. I thought it might be Alaska, but
yeah,
because I remember there was like a war, not a war, but like Russia gave the U.S. Alaska for a bunch of money or something.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
And
when
then they're like,
was.
they want it back, but they're not gonna do anything about it. I don't know. Crazy.
Yeah. But again, I don't claim to be from Hawaii just because I lived there a couple years. I don't call myself a Hawaiian by any means. My child was born in Hawaii, so technically.
And you had like a
I had a hanai.
Yeah.
I had a hanai. Yeah. And a hanai is like an adoptive family. Like they brought me in. So they're my hanai family. And they gave my son his middle name. So he has a Hawaiian middle name. And yeah, so he's a little Hawaiian boy. He calls himself a little Hawaii boy. So it's really cute. He looks like a surfer dude. He really does. He looks like he looks like he lives on an island. Yeah. He said he doesn't want to do that ever again. They've been heckling him at school about that. Yeah.
Where are these kids?
He was like, I'm never cutting my hair again. I was like, well, we did have to cut it a little bit because the chlorine killed it. But other than that, anyways, but I don't claim to be from Hawaii, even though I live there. But the culture, like I still use some of the things I learned from the culture in my like everyday life. Even very little bits of like baby language. I feel like it's like baby language. That has been adopted. The way that we say like done is pow. Yeah, done is pow. And yeah. And I don't know if this is Hawaiian, but like soy sauce, we call it shoyu. I don't know if that's like Hawaiian.
I think
but they use that.
Different language.
They use it. Yeah, but they use it.
Yeah.
Out there a lot. But anyways, like kakao, momoi, like all that kind of stuff. Like I use a lot of the language like puka, stuff like that. Like baby language because I have a son. But
I will say you did learn a lot about Hawaiian cuisine and you taught me some of it. And I still use some of the Hawaiian cuisine things that you taught me.
Oh, yeah. So I did learn a lot. It impacted me a lot. And so when I moved back to the middle of nowhere, southern USA, I still am able to implement those types of things because I love them. So I want to talk about something that's like deep in Hawaii culture, island culture. And I want to talk about their gods or some of their gods that they used to worship, and some still do, because the islands, there are less modern there are less modern populace on some of the islands, so they're still able to perform traditions, rituals and stuff like that in their culture. So I want to talk about some gods. So I'm going to be telling you the story of one of the 4 major native Hawaiian deities, or in Hawaiian, they're called Akua. And my deity's name is Kanaloa.
Heck yeah.
Kanaloa. So Kanaloa is known as the ocean master. He was the mighty god of the deep seas and healing waters, and he is pretty much if we're talking like yin and yang terms, Kanaloa is the yang, and the yin to his yang was his brother Kane. So Kanaloa is described as a powerful and mysterious deity. He holds deep cultural and spiritual significance in older traditional beliefs. And in his, well, I guess I'll just kind of dive into his origin story first, because I have to kind of cover some bases like you did, some base points like you did.
I feel like you can't tell a story like this without giving context, because like they're all, like, all deities are kind of intertwined in their own culture.
Mm-hmm. And like the deities, they cover different parts of the world, of the lands. So yeah. Before Hawaii had the names and the shapes that we know, the islands were just wild lands. The mountains were green, but they were dry also, and the sea was surrounded the land, but there was just not a lot of life in there. It was just kind of a dead area. And from the vast horizon, it said when I was doing research, 2 great beings, Kane, the god of life, sunlight, and fresh water, and Kanaloa, the god of the deep ocean and unseen currents and mystery, the brothers, they stumbled upon these lands. They came to these lands. They traveled together, guided by the stars, and they landed upon these lands. When they reached the island, Kane struck the ground with his staff, and from that spot, freshwater springs came forth. Kanaloa stood beside him, and he ensured the flow reached the people and the plants that were to thrive there. And so together they brought balance, again, that yin and yang. So Kane's sunlight and water nourished the land, and Kanaloa's ocean currents and rain cooled and sustained the islands and kept the flow steady. So at each new place on these islands that they would visit, they left these gifts. Many of Hawaii's oldest freshwater springs are still called Wailele o Kane, the waterfalls of Kane. But the local chants often remind people that Kanaloa was there too, helping guide the water's path. So before I tell more of the story, it's important to know that Kanaloa served along 3 other deities. Kane, his brother, who I mentioned in the story, who is seen as the god of creation and fresh water. So he gets very highlighted because he's just like, he's the creator, is what they say about him. Then there's Lono, the god of peace, agriculture, and fertility. And the fertility comes in because he is the god of healing rains. He brings peace. He's a very calm entity. Then the last one is Ku, the god of war and politics, because of course you got to have a grunt in there. You got to have you got to have like the man who handles all the fighting and politics and blah blah blah, manly man stuff, you know. but he's the warrior god. So those are the 3 brothers. Kanaloa, along with being the god of the ocean and the deep sea, he is also seen like Lono, a god of healing and fertility. But extra, which makes him more of a yang, is that he's also the god of the underworld. Some legends hint at a quiet rivalry between Kane and Kanaloa. In these accounts, it's said that Kanaloa asked for control over the springs so he could share equally in providing life to the land, and Kane refused. by saying the gift was a water for all, not the possession to any one being. So in this story, like, Kane is up here, Kanaloa is down here. And then another story, it continued and said that Kanaloa did not respond with anger, so that way they kind of bring him back up to like that equal level, and that instead he withdrew. He returned to the deep ocean, a realm beyond anyone's reach. And from that point on, he became more of a selective presence in Hawaiian stories, showing himself only to those he deemed worthy. So the reason that it kind of gets, I hate to call it like toxic masculinity, but it can be seen that way because it's like he's only showing himself to those he sees are like deserving of it. It's kind of one of those things of he was forgotten about. Because the ocean, if you think of the ocean, like a lot of people have a phobia of like the ocean. And same with these people on these islands, they were fearful for the ocean. So since he was the god of the ocean, god of the underworld, kind of see it as like him being kind of like an evil being. So it was only those who didn't see him fearfully are the ones that he would show himself to, because he's like, you guys understand me, you guys don't think I'm evil. So it's kind of like more so like that, not like, no, you have to ask for me first or anything. Like, you know.
Well, like, I don't know about you, but I'm not scared of the ocean, but I am scared of what's in it. Like I'm scared of the creatures that live in the ocean, whereas like I love to be in the ocean so much. Oh, I love the ocean. Sorry.
I love being in the ocean.
Sorry, I was thinking about the time that I went to Greece and I got to swim in a Grecian ocean.
Yeah, she got me this ring right here from Madrid and I wear it every day. She also got me this bracelet from Madrid and I wear it every day from her travels.
She did a travel thing. Cold in that water because I went in like March, but it was worth it. My hair has never been healthier than when I went into that water.
Really?
It's like such like densely salt water, like dense salt water.
That's wild. I need to go dip my head in some Grecian water because my hair will not go.
Let's go right now.
My hair will not grow past right here. We'll go. We'll go.
Right now?
We'll go. Well, I have to get my passport now. So.
What the heck?
So Kane, Lono, and Ku, heavily praised. The god of war, god of peace, god of creation. Heavily, heavily praised. And over the years, Kanaloa was just kind of given the, you know, when it came to like burial ceremonies.
Is there like a certain burial ritual in Hawaii? Is that why he got...
Well, yes, because they would send them along the ocean, or if their ashes were burned, it would be more of a release type thing. So you would pray to Kanaloa that he would guide them safely to the underworld. And I mean, they're on an island, like, you know, they tend to just, you know, send the bodies along the ocean.
They're like, what do we do with this?
Exactly.
Just put it in there.
Burial grounds are not really that vast, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So with him just getting that nod, he would be used in like more quiet, private settings. So ocean-related rituals, healing rituals, and he also held special significance for those reconnecting or practicing ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian process of spiritual cleansing and reconciliation, or like repenting.
What does that look like?
Pretty much. Put a picture right here. That's what it looks like. So though he moves quietly, he's more of a quiet god. His influence runs really deep. Kanaloa is the ruler of saltwater realms, the protector of healers, the kahuna la'apau. the patron of ocean voyagers. He's honored in the Hokulea ceremonies before long journeys on the ocean. There would be a lot of ancient chants or oli to call on him to guide the souls safely to the spirit world or to the shadowed paths of the underworld. And there's like a lot of really cool like tiki photos that I'm sprinkling in here because they just look really, really cool. I always thought tikis were so cool. And his tiki, fun fact, is there's usually some sort of like squid association or he'e, octopus, association with it because they said that his power was so vast and unknown that he decided to become an octopus as like his other form because they too are unbelievably intelligent creatures and there's still so much that is unknown about them. Even though we can study one every day, we still don't understand completely how they work or why they do what they do or how they can do what they do. So that's just a little spicy tidbit. Or if you see an octopus or a he'e, it's probably Kanaloa.
Nice.
Not really. Anyways, but him being associated with the ocean, the underworld, there's a lot of stories also that portrayed him as evil. And after reading all of this, I don't think that their roles were never really about good versus evil, but I think it was more just about balance. Like the way light is versus shadows or land versus ocean. They must exist in harmony. So he's not a bad guy. He's just, he's just misunderstood octopus. He's just misunderstood. So I feel like another way to kind of explain him, his personality, is to tell a traditional story. It's not long, but like who doesn't like a good long ago story, you know? You know what I'm saying? So this story was called or is called Kanaloa and the Breath of the Sea. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Long ago, before the islands of Hawaii had names, before the people had houses or fish hooks, the gods walked the earth like men. Kanaloa, lord of the deep ocean, came ashore with Kane, his brother, of sky and light. Together they traveled the young land, striking their staffs into the dry ground and calling forth water. Where Kane brought fresh springs and rivers, Kanaloa touched the same earth and whispered salt into it, bringing the tide to kiss the land. But the people feared the ocean. They took from it, but never thanked it. They prayed to the mountains and the rain, but not to the tides. They said the ocean was Kanaloa's domain, and Kanaloa was too quiet, too dark, and too far away. So Kanaloa returned to the sea and watched from afar. Years passed, and a long drought fell on the islands. The rivers thinned, the taro wilted, and even the clouds turned their backs. The people cried to Kane for water, but the sky stayed still. Then a single boy named Nalu walked to the edge of a high cliff and called out, not to the sky, but to the sea. Kanaloa, he said, I know you are there. I know your waves are not just foam, but breath. I know you listen. The sea was still. I'm not asking for water, Nalu said. I'm asking for your voice. Tell the others you are here. Show them we are not alone. A single wave rolled in, not large, but deliberate. It curved and arched like the spine of a great fish, and from its crest leapt a he'e, an octopus shining with light. The he'e climbed the rocks and sat beside Nalu. It pulsed once, then changed. Its arms became arms. Its body became a man, cloaked in coral and mist. Kanaloa spoke. You do not fear the depths, he said, so you will be the one to teach the others how to cross them. He gave Nalu a stone, smooth and black, warm like the sun. Place this in the center of your village. When Nalu returned home and laid the stone in the earth, the skies opened, not with rain, but with a rising mist that cooled the land and soothed the plants. The ocean swelled with fish, and the people finally built an altar, not just to Kane, but to Kanaloa. From that day, voyagers prayed to Kanaloa before crossing the sea. He never shouted, never burned. He whispered in the tides and healing herbs. In the pull of the moon, and those who knew how to listen always found their way home. The end. So he's an all right guy. He's not evil. I think he's kind of cool.
I think he's cool. I like him.
He's not a terrible guy. He's an octopus guy.
Just misunderstood, like most of us.
He's not uncontrollable. He's not unpredictable. He's just a guy.
Just a guy.
With tentacles. Powerful and mysterious, but just misunderstood because the villagers wouldn't have given him a chance. So just give him a chance and maybe you can earn yourself a best bud who can casually control the oceans.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just
Gladly.
But yeah, that's my deity. We love a little good underdog story.
We both kind of had an underdog story.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. One sacrificed her beauty while the other one just kind of went.
Yeah.
But still.
I forgot to mention. So my deity Oshun, she has actually made an appearance in pop culture in the last 10 years.
Really?
So one of do you remember when Beyonce was pregnant and she had that photo shoot where she had golden crown and she was holding her baby bump and it was
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she was portraying Oshun.
Really?
Yeah. Because she is the goddess of love and fertility. And yeah, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But yeah, I thought that was really cool.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for this week's episode.
I would love to hear some of your knowledge about deities. If you want another part where we talk about other deities, I would love to research Olokun in the same region.
Yeah.
I would love to do some research into her. So if you want me to do that, let me know. But yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. Make sure you drink your water.
Take care of yourself.
And we will see you next week.
Yeah, with a whole new topic because we're not doing a part 2.
You guys take care of yourself. We'll see you next week.
And goodbye.
I like that. It was a little raspy. I like it.
Was it?
Goodbye.
The end.
Didn't hit this week.
Goodbye.
Bye.